Hey there. Today I decided I'm gonna test my knowledge of classic books again. And I'm gonna go. I watched Jack Howard, I think that's his name, video where he does some quizzes and tests on the internet, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do right now. And I'm gonna do them, and live you'll see if I suck or if I can do just the bare minimum. The first one I'm gonna do is gonna be the Penguin Weekly Quiz. Can you guess the classic novel from these iconic first lines? Question timer 30 seconds. Oh dear lord. Can you guess the classic book from these iconic first lines? Start. Oh my god. We slept in what had once been the gymnasium. That's The Handmaid's Tale. Next. A screaming comes across the sky. I don't know! The Sea Raiders by H.G. Wells. The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Gravity's Rainbow by Thomas Pynchon. Oh man. I'm gonna go with The Ravens. Oh god, it's wrong. Call Me Ishmael, that's Moby Dick. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice. That's The Great Gatsby. If I can get to it. Thank you. I am a sick man. I am a spiteful man. It has to be Tales, Notes from Underground. Yes. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. That's Anna Karenina. They say when trouble comes close ranks, so the white people did. I think it could be Beloved, but I think it's White Sargasso Sea by Jane Reese. Yes! It was inevitable. The scent of bitter almonds almost always reminded him of the fate of unrequited love. Oh, that's so sad. So it's not Love and Friendship by Jane Austen. Love in the Time of Cholera, A Spy in the House of Love. I think it's Love in the Time of Cholera. Yes. You will rejoice to hear that no disaster has accompanied me. That's Frankenstein. Yes. The first place that I can well remember was a large pleasant meadow with a pond of clear water in it. Oh man. I'm gonna go with Black Beauty. What? Yes! If you really want to hear about it, the first thing you probably want to know is where I was born and what my lousy childhood was like and when my parents were occupied. That's I'm not even gonna show you. That's The Catcher in the Rye. The Catcher in the Rye, yeah. The primroses were over. Watership Down or To the Lighthouse, because it's not Black Beauty. I'm gonna go with To the Lighthouse. Oh, damn it. It was Love at First Sight. I know it's Catch-22. It was a bright cold day in April and the clocks were striking 13. That's epic, iconic 1984. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Pride and Prejudice. What did I do? Oh, 13 out of 15. That's not that bad. And it says, nice work, Einstein. Your bookshelves groan under the weight of your personal classics collection, and you've got the linguistic prowess of Shakespeare. I do not. From Dostoevsky to Tolstoy, you've tackled all the greats. Why not pick up something new and discover the latest and greatest releasings in 2020? No, thank you. So that's the first quiz. It wasn't embarrassing. Let's go to the second one. Okay, so the next one is the BBC, the classic novel opening line quiz. A lot of opening lines. Alright. The following quiz contains the opening lines to 11 classic novels. All you have to do is identify the book. Good luck. Thank you. Play. Question 1 of 11. Scarlett O'Hara was not beautiful. That's Gone with the Wind. Yep. Question 2. When a day that you happen to know is Wednesday starts off by sounding like Sunday, there is something seriously wrong somewhere. I don't know, but I think they put 2 H.G. Wells to trick us. So I'm gonna go with the Day of the Triffids. I don't know if it's right. It was the best of time, it was the worst of times. That's the Tale of Two Cities. It was a bright cold day in April and the clocks were striking 13. That's 1984. Call me Ishmael, that's Moby Dick. We slept in what had once been a gymnasium, Handmaid's Tale. What a lot of hairy-faced men there are around nowadays. The Twits, The Naked Civil Servant, The Magic Fairway Tree. I'm gonna go with The Twits. I have no idea. It is a truth universally acknowledged. Pride and Prejudice. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. That's Philosopher's Stone. Where's Papa's going with that axe? Said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. I think Charlotte's Web. Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. I'm reading this book, so Rebecca. What? I got all of them right! I got all of them right. Even the ones that I didn't know. Oh. Oh. I'm feeling better. That's good. 11 out of 11. Next quiz. Now I'm feeling cocky. Okay, so the next one is another one for first sentences. I forgot how to speak. It's, can you guess the famous book from its first sentence? Take the quiz. Oh my god, I'm nervous. Why? Nothing's happening. My computer froze again. Oh, there's this quiz here that sounds fantastic. Is this a Vampire Weekend lyric or an Emily Dickinson poem? I'm gonna have to do this one. What we can see here is that a lot of these quizzes repeat the same book. So what can I do about it? Nothing I can do about it. So all unhappy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way, and a Korean. Next. It was a bright cold day in April. 1984. Whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life, or whether the station will be held by anybody else, these pages must show. I think that's David Copperfield. Yes. It was love at first sight, catch 22. It was a queer, sultry summer. Don't have to read anymore. That's the bell jar, but I'll read. The summer they electrocuted the Rosenbergs, and I didn't know what I was doing in New York. Iconic, the bell jar. All this happened more or less. The last thing he wanted, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, The Catcher in the Rye, Slaughterhouse 5. I'm gonna put Slaughterhouse 5. Yep. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. Jane Eyre, my favorite. Mother died today, or maybe yesterday. I can't be sure. I think that's a stranger. Yes. It was a pleasure to burn. One of my other favorites, Fahrenheit 451. I first met Dean not long after my wife and I split up. I had just gotten over serious illness that I won't bother to talk about, except that it had something to do with the miserably weary split up and my feeling that everything was dead. The Sun Also Rises, a portrait of the artist as a young man as I lay dying on the road. I think it's on the road. Yes. I got 10 out of 10 right. Turns out you can identify the novel by its opening line, and a lot of them I didn't read this time. It was just going by like the feel of it. Either you've read a lot of books or some kind of guessing wizard, but I haven't ruled out the possibility of both. Don't. Definitely bring this up at parties. No. Flaunt your superiority over the unlettered masses. You deserve it. I do deserve it. Okay, so I went to Goodreads because I think there are gonna be some pretty good quizzes there. And I found this one that I did. I made this quiz in like 2012, so I won't remember anything. It's still valid. It's like 9 years old, so let's go. Ugh. All happy families resemble one another. Anna Karenina. Next question. Wait. When Father Oak smiled, the corners of his mouth spread till they were within an unimportant distance of his ears. His eyes were reduced to chinks, and diverging wrinkles appeared around them, extending upon his countenance like rays in the rudimentary sketch of a rising sun. That is the beautiful opening of Far From the Madding Crowd. Okay. On an evening in the latter part of May, a middle-aged man was walking homeward from Shaston to the village of Marlott in the adjoining vale of Blakemore or Blackmore. So that's Tess of the D'Urbervilles, Emma, the House of the Dead, or Dubliners. It is not Emma or the House of the Dead. It can only be Tess or Dubliners. Shaston to Marlott, adjoining vale of Blackmore. Oh man, I'm gonna go with Tess, but I think I'm wrong. Edith, say Margaret gently. Edith. So that's The Professor, North and South, Animal Farm or Cry the Beloved Country. That's North and South, or The Professor, but I think there's north and south. On a January evening of the early 70s, See, I can't remember any of this. Christine Nilsson was singing in Faust at the Academy of Music in New York. I Capture the Castle, that's not it. Madame Bovary, could be. The Age of Innocence, I don't know. To the Lighthouse, I don't know. The thing is, this year I read The Age of Innocence and I hated it. But I don't remember how it starts. And I've read Madame Bovary too, but I don't remember how it starts. But Academy of Music of New York, Madame Bovary is in France. So I'm gonna go with The Age of Innocence. The studio was filled with a rich odor of roses. I know that's the picture of Dorian Gray. There was no possibility of taking a walk that day. Jane Eyre. In 12 June 1942. I hope I will be able to confide everything to you, as I have never been able to confide in anyone, and I hope you will be a secret source of comfort and support. That is the beautiful Anne Frank. It is a truth universally acknowledged that that's Pride and Prejudice. What is it going to be then, eh? That's Clockwork Orange. Okay. I see a ring, said Bernard, hanging above me. It quivers and hangs in a loop of light. The Waves, by Virginia Woolf. Vanity Fair, Madame Bovary, The Gambler. I'm gonna say it's The Waves because I've tried reading The Waves so many times and it's all like that. It's blah blah blah, said someone. Blah blah blah, said someone. Blah blah blah, said someone. So I think it's The Waves. Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents, grumbled Joe, lying on the rug. That's Little Women. All children except one grow up. That's Peter Pan. Sir Walter Elliot of Kenilworth Hall in Somersetshire was a man of who, for his own amusement, never took up any book but the baronetage. That's Persuasion. 1801. I have just returned from a visit to my landlord, the solitary neighbor that I shall be troubled with. That is either a tenant of Wildflower Hall or Wuthering Heights. I'm gonna go with Wuthering Heights. No. Solitary neighbor. I think that's a tenant of Wildfell Hall because she's alone with her son. Yes, of course, if it's fine tomorrow, said Mrs. Ramsay, but you'll have to be up with the lark, she added. So it's not Northanger Abbey, it's not A Tale of Two Cities. Could be To the Lighthouse and the ABC Murders by Agatha Christie. I'm gonna go with the ABC Murders. It's a funny thing about mothers and fathers. That's Matilda. Last night I dreamt I went to Manderley again. Rebecca. Call me Ishmael Moby Dick. You must go back with me to the autumn of 1827. That's the tenant of Wildfell Hall. Oh, so I got that one wrong. Damn it. I got that other one wrong. I am doomed to remember a boy with a wrecked voice. It's not To Kill a Mockingbird. It's not The Importance of Being Earnest, Les Miserables, and A Prayer for O.M. Minnie. It's A Prayer for O.M. Minnie. Marley was dead to begin with. There is no doubt about that. The Glass Castle, The Bell Jar, Fahrenheit 451, A Christmas Carol. It's not. The Bell Jar is not Fahrenheit. I think it's A Christmas Carol. Or The Glass Castle. I'm gonna go with The Christmas Carol. Yeah. There's a lovely road that runs to Ixopo into the hills. So it's Ivanhoe, Things Fall Apart, Cry the Beloved Country, or 1984. So it's Things Fall Apart or Cry the Beloved Country. I'm gonna go with Cry the Beloved Country. Well, Prince, Genoa and Lucca are now nothing more than states taken over by the Buonaparte family. That's War and Peace. In my younger and more vulnerable years, my father gave me some advice. That's The Great Gatsby. My father's family name being Perp, and I know what this is, and my Christian name Philip, my infant tongue could make both names nothing longer or more explicit than Pip. That's Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. Mr. and Mrs. Durley of number 4 Private Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. That's Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. If you really want to hear about it, that is The Catcher in the Rye. When he was nearly 13, my brother Jem got his arm badly broken at the elbow. That's To Kill a Mockingbird. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times, A Tale of Two Cities. In that pleasant district of Merry England, which is watered by the River Don, there extended in ancient times a large forest covering the greater part of the beautiful and hill and valleys which lie between Sheffield and the pleasant town of Doncaster. So Ivanhoe, Fanny Hill, The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, or Orlando. I don't think it's Orlando or The Murder of Roger Ackroyd, so Ivanhoe or Fanny Hill. I'm gonna go with Ivanhoe. 348 years, 6 months and 19 days ago, the Parisians awoke to the sound of the bells at the triple circuit of the city, the university, and the town, ringing a full peal. I think that's the Hunchback of Notre Dame. In a hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. The Fellowship of the Ring, The Two Towers, The Return of the King, or The Hobbit. I'm gonna go with The Fellowship of the Ring. Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral of the galaxy lies a small underguarded yellow sun. Dune by Frank Herbert, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Neuromancer, The Time Machine. I'm gonna go with The Hitchhikers. It was a queer and sultry summer, The Bell Jar. It was a pleasure to burn, Fahrenheit 451. The boy with fair hair lowered himself down the last few feet of rock and began to pick his way toward the lagoon. The Lord of the Flies, The Jungle Book, Kim, and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. It's not The Jungle Book or Kim. I'm gonna go with The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. It was a cold, bright day in April, and all the clocks were striking 1984. All this happened more or less Slaughterhouse-Five. Someone must have slandered Joseph K. For one morning, without having done anything truly wrong, he was arrested. That's the trial. By Franz Kafka. Oh my god. Submit. I got 36 of 40 wrong, correct, which is 90%. I want to see the ones that I got wrong. Oh, it's here. So let's see the ones that I got wrong. I got the tenant of Walthall Hall, the Wuthering Heights, wrong. I said it was a tenant of Walthall Hall. It's Wuthering Heights. I got To the Lighthouse. I got wrong. Yes, of course, it's fine tomorrow, said Army. Alright. What else? Oh, I got The Hobbit wrong. In the hole in the ground there lived a hobbit. It's The Hobbit. I got it wrong. And the boy with fair hair lowered himself. Yeah, I was going between The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and Lord of the Flies. It's Lord of the Flies. Okay, so 90%. It's not that bad. This quiz was created by me. Okay? And I didn't get 100%. It 9 years ago anyway, but still. Let's see more quizzes. This one is the classic book quotes quiz. It has 11 questions. Mine had 40. I have no chill. Okay, so this is to see if you can match up quotes from classic books and plays. Have fun. Nothing from that past 30 years. I have another 4 more recent stuff. You have grown abominably lazy, and you like gossip and waste time on frivolous things. You are contented to be petted and admired by silly people instead of being loved and respected by wise ones. So that's Pride and Prejudice, Little Women, Taming the Shrew, or Jane Eyre. I'm gonna go with Little Women because I don't think it's Pride and Prejudice, Taming the Shrew, or Jane Eyre. A Little More Than Kin and Less Than Kind, Hamlet, Much Ado About Nothing, The Telltale Heart, and Les Miserables. I have no idea. I'm gonna go with Hamlet. I am no bird, and no net ensnares me. I am a free human being with an independent will. That's Jane Eyre. At least I would. This one I know for sure. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, The Black Cat, I, Vampire, Dracula, and the Raven. I'm gonna go with the Raven. No man knows till he experiences it. There is what it's like to feel his own life blood drawn away into the woman he loves. So that's Twilight, Dracula, Carmilla, or Jekyll and Hyde. I'm gonna go with Dracula. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you for my children. Catch-22, Something Wicked This Way Come, Uncle Tom's Cabin, To Kill a Mockingbird. Catch-22. There is something so amiable in the prejudices of young mind. There is one sorry one is sorry to see them give way to the reception of more general opinions. Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibility, Persuasion of Elect. Oh my god. I'm gonna go with Sense and Sensibility. 30 white horses on a red hill. First they champ, then they stamp, then they stand still. Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, Return of the King, The Hobbit. Again. I'm gonna go with The Return of the King. The schoolmaster is generally a man of some importance in the female circle of a rural neighborhood, being considered a kind of idle, gentleman-like personage of vastly superior taste and accomplishments to the rough country swains, and indeed inferior in learning only to the parson. Oliver Twist, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, The Birds of Spring, and The Tales of a Traveler. I'm gonna go with Oliver Twist. Midday upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark, for the straightforward pathway had been lost. Frankenstein, White Worm, Mask of the Red Death, and Dante's Inferno. I'm gonna go with Inferno. No matter, I don't know any of these. If you're not getting my face of, I don't know what's happening. No matter how dreary and grey our homes are, we people of flesh and blood would rather live there than in any other country, be it ever so beautiful. There is no place like home. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, the Marvelous Land of Oz, Dorothy and the Wizard in Oz, The Road to Oz. I did not know there were so many books of Oz. I'm gonna go with The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Submit. Oh, it's not that bad. I got 8 out of 11 correct, so 72%. Let's see the ones I got right and the ones I got wrong. Okay, so the first one, you have gone abominably lazy and you like gossip and Little Women. I got it right. A little more than kin and little and less than kind, Hamlet. I got it right, and I just read it. This one is obviously Jane Eyre. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over a many quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, The Raven. Okay. No man knows the existence Dracula. Oh, okay. Now I want to read Dracula more, because this line is beautiful. Thank you, Arthur. Thank you for my children. That's Catch-22, and I said it was To Kill a Mockingbird. Okay. There is something so amiable in the prejudices. I knew it was Sense and Sensibility because of Marianne. Marianne has the prejudices of a young mind. 30 white horses on a red hill. First they champ, blah, blah, blah. That's The Hobbit, not The Return of the King. The schoolmaster is generally a man of some importance, the family, blah, blah, blah. That's The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, not Oliver Twist. Midday upon the journey of our life, I found myself within a dark forest, for the straightforward pathward had been lost. That's Dante Inferno. That makes me want to read Dante's Inferno. No matter how dreary and grey homes, that's A Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Okay, so that's good. Which Jane Austen suitor would you be most compatible with? I love that one. So here we have Mr. Bingley, Mr. Knightley, and Mr. Darcy. Let's see. I know I love Mr. Darcy and Mr. Tilney. They're my favorites. But let's see what's this Spark Notes tells me. Take the quiz. Would you ever consider marrying for anything other than love? No. Next. What's most important in a romantic partner? A good sense of humor, good prospects, passion, shared values, intelligence, attractiveness, dependability. Oh god. A good sense of humor, passion, shared values, intelligence. How am I gonna do this? So we have sense of humor, passion, shared values, and intelligence. I'm gonna take intelligence. So sense of humor, passion, shared values. A good sense of humor is very important. Passion is very important. Shared values is very important. I'm gonna go with shared values because I've been through some shit, and passion won't get you anywhere without shared values. So, next question. Would you rather date someone who hasn't read a book in a year? Date someone who reads all the time but hates your favorite book? Date someone who hasn't read a book in a year, or date someone who reads all the time but hates your favorite book? Reads all the time. Next question. Would you be okay dating someone who was vastly more wealthy than you? I'd be totally fine with that, yes. How would you like to be wooed? Light teasing, subtle flirting, but not that subtle. Compliments. I like it when people just ask me out straight up. Really intense eye contact from across a crowded room. Cheesy pickup lines that are oddly kind of charming. I like it when they laugh at my jokes. Okay, I'm between subtle flirting, compliments, and I like it when people just ask me out straight up. I don't know. This is hard. Subtle flirting, but not that subtle. Compliments, and asking me out straight up. Asking me out straight up. Next question. Would you rather date someone with a really active social life, date someone who's more of a homebody and prefers to stay in? Homebody. Last question. Do opposites attract? Yes, definitely. Sometimes. Not in my experience. I'm not sure. Sometimes. Who did I get? Mr. Knightley. Oh, okay. You need someone who's going to call you out on your shit, who will challenge you intellectually, whose unfailing compassion for others contrasts your occasional moral failings. Someone like Emma's Mr. Knightley. He should be a good judge of character, as well as mature, compelling, honest, and responsible. It's not as sexy as brooding everywhere and smirking a lot, but you don't need that sort of thing. You need stability. And if it just so happens to come in the form of a hot older gentleman with an egalitarian view of marriage, all the better. I'm okay with Mr. Knightley. I like Mr. Knightley a lot. But I wanted Mr. Tilney. Next quiz is this a Vampire Weekend lyric or an Emily Dickinson poem? That's fun. We outgrow love, like other things, and put it in the drawer. Vampire Weekend. Damn it! You see through the dark, right past the fireflies that sleep in my heart. That's Emily Dickinson. I left the wilding days of old. Your house is warmer, the wilderness is cold. Now I think that's Emily Dickinson, but I'm gonna put Vampire Weekend. I'm just gonna exchange things. A little madness in the spring is wholesome even for the king. I think that's Vampire Weekend, so I'm gonna put Emily Dickinson. See? I know that I've been wicked and the road to hell is wide, cursed by curiosity that made us go inside. I think that's Vampire Weekend, so I'm gonna put Emily Dickinson. Got it wrong. Wisdom's a gift, but you trade it for youth. Age is an honor. It's still not the truth. We saw the stars when they hid from the world. I think that's Emily Dickinson, so I'm gonna put Vampire Weekend. See? Faith is a fine invention when gentlemen can see, but microscopes are prudent in an emergency. I think that's Vampire Weekend, so I'm gonna put Emily Dickinson. I took my power in my hand and went against the world. Emily Dickinson. Yeah. When I was young, I was told I'd find one rich man in 10 has a satisfied mind. I think that's Emily Dickinson, so Vampire Weekend. The ocean's heart too smooth, too blue, too break for you. That's Vampire Weekend. Come on! No power can compel me back into the daylight. Let that evil wait. That's Emily. I heard a fly buzz when I died. The stillness in the room was like the stillness in the air between the heaves of the storm. That's Emily. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. Vampire Weekend. Damn it. I took your counsel and came to ruin. Leave me to myself, leave me to myself. Emily. I'm terrible at this. Lonely in the ocean, but in every single way it was full of love and the warmest fellow feeling. I think that's Emily Dickinson, so I'm gonna put Vampire Weekend. See? I got 8 out of 15 right. So it says, I bet you're a little disappointed in the outcome. Yes. That's okay, you did the best you could, probably, and no one's judging. If you were a book, what genre would you be? Take the quiz. If you could travel through time, would you rather go to the future or to the past? I'd rather go to the future. I'd rather go to the past. Honestly, I'd rather just stay in the present. If your life was a book, what would the critics say? The plot was meandering and repetitive, and the characters were dull. Refreshing, a pleasant surprise. No. Defiant, immersive, and riddled with angst. A promising premise, but sloppy in the execution. Imaginative debut, full of twists and turns. A modern classic. I'm between defiant, immersive, and riddled with angst, and the plot was meandering and repetitive, and the characters are dull. I'm gonna put defiant and immersive. What is the main theme of your life? Young love, good versus evil, overcoming adversity, coming of age, fate versus free will, and identity. I'm between overcoming adversity and identity. Oh man. I'm gonna put identity. What do you like to do in your spare time? Read or write, play sports, hang out with friends, watch Netflix, draw, sneak around defunct mental asylums, and just hope I don't accidentally conjure something. Read or write. What's the first thing you do in the morning? Hit the snooze button 15 times, take a shower, go for a walk, eat breakfast, make coffee, look in the mirror, and describe my physical appearance to no one in particular. Make coffee. What skill do you possess that will inevitably come in handy at a critical juncture? My good memory, my lock-picking skills, my ability to break codes, my athleticism, my ability to speak multiple languages, my ability to successfully fold a fitted sheet. Definitely not my athleticism. My ability to speak multiple languages, because I can speak two. Which of these types of music do you prefer? Indie, pop, EDM, classic rock, R&B, indie. Which of these genres do you like the least? Dystopian, realistic fiction, psychological thrillers, paranormal romance, detective novels, absurdism. Realistic fiction. No. I don't know what absurdism is, so I'm gonna put that. Describe your friends. Now that's awkward. It is awkward because there's no option for no friends. They're a ragtag group of lovable misfits. They're a bunch of expendable pawns the antagonists will ultimately use against me. I can't trust any of them. Which of these is an example of a real-life plot twist you've experienced? I got an A on a test I thought I failed. I got catfished. My sister ran off with a handsome cat, thereby soiling our family's good name. My crush actually liked me back once. That time they gave the Academy Award to La La Land. Turns out the school janitor has been dead for 50 years. La La Land. Who's the villain in your story? The one teacher I hate, society, Matthew McConaughey. Someone in my social circle who everyone else likes but I can't stand. Certain politicians. I'm the villain of my own story. So I am mystery. Your life is a mystery novel. It's just one plot twist after another for you. It's not. You have a keen sense of observation and wealth of applicable knowledge, so it's down to you to figure out who did the thing, how they did it, and how you're philosophically, and if you're in the philosophical type, why. That's completely wrong. I am not a mystery novel because mystery novels have plot twists and my life has no plot twist. It's a boring thing. So I would be a classic or a realistic coming to age story Something like that. Yeah. BuzzFeed. How many of these 50 classics have you actually read? Pride and Prejudice. I've read. The Great Gatsby. I've read. 1984. I haven't read Little Women. Catcher in the Rye. To Kill a Mockingbird. No. Peter Pan. Yes. The Little Prince by yes. Fahrenheit 451, yes. Wuthering Heights, yes. Moby Dick, no. Alice, yes. Lord of the Flies, no. The Odyssey, no. Oliver Twist, no. The Adventures of Huckleberry, no. Jane Eyre, yes. The Grapes of Wrath, yes. Anne of Green Gables, yes. Things Fall Apart, no. Brave New World, yes. The Lion, the Witch, no. Dracula, no. Frankenstein, no. The Lord of the Rings, no. Animal Farm, no. Great Expectations, yes. Les Miserables, no. The Count of Monte Cristo, no. Emma, yes. War and Peace, yes. The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, no. Anna Karenina, yes. The Secret Garden, yes. The Picture of Dorian Gray, yes. Of Mice and Men, no. A Separate Place, no. A Separate Piece, I didn't even know that one existed. Treasure Island, no. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, no. Christmas Carol, yes. Swiss Family, no. The Iliad, no. 100 Years of Solitude, no. Don Quixote, no. The Call of the Wild, no. The Hobbit, no. The Tale of Two Cities, no. Gone with the Wind, no. The Scarlet Letter, no. Terrible. I've read 21 out of 50. This one is, are you a classic literature whiz? Begin quiz. Many of William Faulkner's novels are set in the fictional equivalent of his home county in this state. Oh, Jesus. California. No. John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath centers on a family tenant farmers during the Great Depression. Yes! Which story did Edgar Allan Poe not write? The Cask of Amontillado, The Telltale Heart, The Turn of the Screw, The Turn of Screw. Yes. In Victor Hugo Les Miserables, the protagonist Jean Valjean was imprisoned for this crime: murder, theft, kidnapping, assault. Theft. Was it theft or was it murder? Theft. What happened? Advertising. Where's the question? I don't know if I got it right. Clueless is a modern adaptation of what novel? Emma. Yep. What furniture piece provided Portia's wardrobe? What is the name of Captain Nemo's submarine in Jules Verne? The Nautilus. In Herman Melville's Moby Dick, Ishmael is the sole survivor aboard which ship? Pequod. The African Queen. HMS Bounty and HMS Beagle. I think it's Pequod or Bounty. I'm gonna put Pequod. Yeah. Next question. The teen flick 10 Things I Hate About You is a loose interpretation of this comedy by Shakespeare. The Taming of the Shrew. Yeah. Which of these things did Huckleberry Finn not do? Dress up as a girl, fake his own death, free his foster family slave, get kidnapped. Dress up as a girl. No, got it wrong. James Joyce's Ulysses is set in which city? Dublin. That one was easy. It was about time. It was Tale of Two Cities. Next question. The popular television Lost was inspired in part by which classic novel? Paradise Lost, Lord of the Flies, Treasure Island, The Adventures of Tintin. Lord of the Flies? Yes. What is the Great Gatsby's first name? J. Gatsby. In Jane Eyre, where is... If I get this one wrong... I'll quit YouTube. In Jane Eyre, where is Edward Rochester's insane secret bride Bertha Mason from? India, Jamaica, London, Spain. I know he married her in Jamaica, but what if she's from London and they just married in Jamaica? I'm gonna put Jamaica. Yes! In The Scarlet Letter, Hester Prynne was forced to wear this character. A for adulterer. Yes. Keira Knightley played this heroine. Yes, it's Lizzie. Elizabeth Bennet. What is the name of Mr. Darcy's estate? Pemberley. In George Orwell 1984, the superstate that houses what is now Great Britain is called Oceania. To whom does the title of the novel Frankenstein refer to? The Doctor. I got 90%. Way to go! Like Spartacus, you're a literary scholar who could teach your friends a thing or two about classics. Yeah, that was cool. That one I liked. Let's do a final one and be done with this. So, could you be a bibliologist? Bibliologist? Take this classic literature quiz to find out. Star quiz. Is that a job? If that's a job, I want that job. Who wrote The Old Man and the Sea? Ernest Hemingway. Who wrote Jane Eyre? Charlotte Bronte. Who wrote The Scarlet Letter? Nathaniel Hawthorne. Who wrote Frankenstein? Mary Shelley. Who wrote The Violent Bear It Away? I don't know. It wasn't Harper Lee. I'm gonna go with Margaret Mitchell? Oh, damn it, no. Who wrote Moby Dick? Herman Melville. Who wrote To Kill a Mockingbird? Harper Lee. Who wrote The Beautiful and the Damned? And it's F. Scott Fitzgerald. And some say Zelda Fitzgerald. Who wrote Delta of Venus? I think it's I don't know how to pronounce it. Anais Nin. Anais Nin? I don't know. Who wrote Love in the Time of Cholera? Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Who wrote The Color Purple? Alice Walker. Who wrote Fences? August Wilson. Who wrote Woman Warrior? Maxine? Yeah. Who wrote Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Hunter S. Thompson. Who wrote The Last of the Mohicans? I don't know. Got it right. Who wrote White Fang? Jack London. Who wrote War and Peace? Leo Tolstoy. Who wrote Anna Karenina? Leo Tolstoy. Who wrote The Feminine Mystique? Oh my god. Was it Simone de Beauvoir? I'm gonna say Betty. Yeah! Who wrote On the Origin of Species? Charles Darwin. Who wrote Crime and Punishment? Dostoevsky. Who wrote Satanic Verses? Salman Rushdie. Who wrote The Museum of Innocence? Gibran? Damn it. Who wrote The Prophet? Gibran. Who wrote Things Fall Apart? Chinua Achebe. Who wrote Oedipus Rex? Homer, Sophocles, Aristotle, Euripides. I would never know that one. Who wrote Their Eyes Were Watching God? Zora Neale Hurston. Who wrote The Divine Comedy? Dante. Who wrote The Wasteland? I'm gonna say Ezra Pound. Damn it. Who wrote The Three Musketeers? Alessandro Dumas. Hunchback of Notre Dame. Victor Hugo. Lord of the Flies. William Goldman or William Golden? I think it's Golden. Yes. Who wrote Picture Dorian Gray? Oscar Wilde. Macbeth, Shakespeare. Pedro Páramo. Oh man. Juan Rulfo? Yeah. Fahrenheit 451, Ray Bradbury. Brave New World, Aldous Huxley. Animal Farm, George Orwell. Metamorphosis, Kafka. Lolita, Nabokov. Cyrano de Bergerac. Edmund Rostand, because it couldn't be the other ones. Don Quixote, it's Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra. The Prince, Machiavelli. The Screw Tape Letters, oh man, C.S. Lewis? Yeah. The Autobiography of Malcolm X. No. Night, Primo Levi. No! I was so sure about this one. The Swiss Family Robinson. Oh, I don't know. Hermann Hesse? No. Streetcar Named Desire. Tennessee Williams or McCarthy. Tennessee Williams. Yeah. In Cold Blood, Truman Capote. Finnegan's Wake, James Joyce. I got 43 out of 50. Okay. That's not so bad. So I guess we're done with this, right? It was really fun doing these quizzes. I hope it was fun watching me do them and sometimes fail completely, sometimes get a good score, and just thank you for watching me having fun doing quizzes. For anyone who's having a hard time, this is a good thing to do. Just search for quizzes to do online. It'll pass the time. It's awesome. I learned this today. But really, if you're having a hard time, I hope you get out of this space soon. To everyone who's at home, taking care of yourselves, continue doing that, wearing your masks, staying at home, doing what you can not to spread this thing that has taken so many lives, and we have to do what we can do, right? So at least that. I hope you have a great day, an awesome week, and I'll see you soon, very, very soon, in another video. Bye bye.